Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Santa Clarita In-Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our guests this morning are Margie Veis of Oakmont of Santa Clarita. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Nice to have you here. And later in the hour, we will be speaking with Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology. Welcome, Margie.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
Doing terrific. And what's going on at Oakmont of Santa Clarita? Lots of things.
That's a loaded
I'm sure.
question.
Yes.
So we just passed our 100 days as a community.
Wow.
That has been amazing. It's gone so fast. So we have filled up. We're running about 95% occupied. We're down to our last 3 apartment homes.
That's terrific.
I know. Congratulations to us. And
Congratulations.
I think it just shows what a need there was in the Santa Clarita Valley for senior living, for that high-end senior living. We have really watched a community grow before our eyes. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I get choked up when I see that community forming, the friendships being formed, people that have lived alone, that were isolated, that are now out and about, those that are getting, 3 wonderful meals a day and a little TLC, are coming out of their shells or are recovering from maybe an illness or a fall, and are just in an environment that's so nurturing, but yet really encompasses the independence of seniors. So it's been great.
But you're going to have to build an extension soon.
I got to get this one up and running first.
You only have 3 left.
Never say never, right? So we are encouraging, if you're thinking about it or just want to take a tour and see what an amazing community we have, to come by. We're doing events. We have tours. We have luncheons. Just come in and say, I just want to see Oakmont. We're just so proud of it as a team.
That's wonderful. Now, do you live on the premises?
I feel like it sometimes, but no, I don't.
Okay.
I've lived in Stevenson Ranch. I've been a part of this valley for almost 25 years. I raised my family here. I have a brother and a sister and a mom that live here. So it's double happiness for me to get to work in the community and do something that's so meaningful for our community.
And you've been here for such a long time. I would not think that you would be living at Oakmont. Like you say, you have you have a place, but we all might be there soon.
Yep. And what a place it would be.
Now the view is panoramic. I mean, you can see Magic Mountain and the mountains and everything. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. You can sit out. Sometimes I just take 5 minutes and maybe go in the courtyard by the fountain, or I'll sit out with some of the residents out on our outdoor dining, which has that beautiful view of Magic Mountain, and think, wow, I get to work here.
It's close to the 5 freeway. That helps a lot.
Yep.
So, and then there's shopping right down the street.
Yes,
can't beat that.
No, it really. The Gallagher family, who's the owners of Oakmont, really did their homework, thought really of everything. So I'm very proud of that community.
So what do you think are the most important things about Oakmont that, especially when our seniors are living at home, they start to sometimes fail in certain ways. But what is it that Oakmont does in terms of augmenting their quality of life? Like, for instance, being able to vacuum for them. Because I know my mom, I have to vacuum for my mom.
Right.
That's just, she can't do that anymore. She's 94. She can't do that. So we've taken over some of her chores. But some of the chores you have taken over too, and allowing them, the seniors, to have that quality of life.
Right. And I think, many assisted livings offer the same services. If you look on paper, meals are provided, housekeeping is provided, laundry is provided. But again, I think what makes Oakmont of Santa Clarita stand out is our staff. I think it's the philosophy of a family-owned community that really our residents come first. And when I get asked that question all the time, well, what makes Oakmont of Santa Clarita different? I tell them, I'm the executive director there. You're not going to find a more passionate, more dedicated leader. And when you have someone in a lead role, your staff follows. Mm-hmm. So, everybody that is there, I've interviewed. Some of them I've had, prior relationships in working with them before. So we've really pulled together a team that is dedicated, is passionate. Are we perfect? No, but we listen to our residents, we listen to our families. What we can change, we do. What we can't, we talk about, explain why. So it's a continuous process. Mm-hmm. It's only
always
100 days, and it has to be, because it's not about what I want. It's what about the residents want and the families want. Yes, we're bound by policies and procedures that, our guidelines of Title 22. There are things that we have to provide, and there are things that we have to do. But I think it's in the way you have a relationship with your residents, mm-hmm. the way you have a relationship with your families, the fact that I am always available for the most part. Mm-hmm. That's just something, that's how I choose to run my building, mm-hmm. So I think that's what makes us stand out.
It's accountability. It's mm-hmm. being able to gather all the experience that you've had. And, we've known each other for easily over 2 decades, coming on 3 decades now, and seeing each other grow in this community. And for Absolutely. You, it's been sometimes a chore. We've had to learn from our experience. But, mm-hmm. something that has culminated now into the accountability that you can give.
Right. And, when your name stands behind it, when your name is on that license, that means something. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just a combination of the services that we provide and how we provide them that is helpful not only to the senior that lives there, but to our families. And I want to share, we had a woman that was contemplating moving in, and she was really struggling whether she, am I old enough? Should I do it? Can I afford it? All those what ifs, every obstacle. And it was making her adult daughter crazy. And the daughter was not going to force it, but the daughter was just hoping that this was going to work out. And so the resident moved in, and in a very short time has made friends. And the daughter, when she comes in, she always points to me, and then she skips. And she says, I just want you to know, I'm so happy. She said, because number 1, I've got my relationship back with my mother. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I have my life back. And she says, and my mom, she's happy. She's happy.
She has
Thank
her
you,
own
thank you,
life.
thank you.
Absolutely.
So it's not just the resident. It's the daughter, it's the son, it's the daughter-in-law that has really been doing whatever they can to make it work at home. But on the other side, just been secretly hoping, mm-hmm. When is this going to change? It's very hard to be having my life while taking care of an elder. And of course, we're going to do it, but knowing that there's an option. So I always love seeing that family, because she does. She literally skips.
But it's the struggle that we see in our caregivers that makes us aware that their loved one is having trouble. And some of the things, like I mentioned, that with my mother not being able to vacuum, mm-hmm. sweep the floor, sweep the porch, that's an automatic thing that we do now. But mm-hmm. there are some signs that our caregivers, our loved ones are seeing in this elder senior that become a clue, a sign, a symptom that the elder senior is not doing well in their environment.
Absolutely.
And, sometimes they're disheveled, sometimes they're losing weight, sometimes their pet cat or raccoon, are
That's
not
right.
being cared for.
Right.
A lot of things start to show up, and we start to do that for our loved ones. But at some point, like the family you mentioned, they were able to cope with it by moving into Oakmont. But
Right.
some of the signs are there. But Margie, sometimes it's not heeded until something terrible develops, like a fall or and a broken hip or something that puts them into a tailspin that could ultimately cause serious medical problems as well.
Absolutely. And that's sometimes the conversation that we have with families is, what are you waiting for? Because we'll get, oh, this is beautiful, but I'm not ready yet. And we'll say, because we see all the signs, families share it. A lot of times an adult child doesn't want to make that decision for a parent, but yet it's so obvious to both the adult children and to us that the parent, they're not capable of making that decision. So it's being able to push a little bit, but it's really hard sometimes to acknowledge that our parent needs help.
Well, and a lot of times too, the parent herself or himself is not ready to say,
Make
oh
the
dear,
change.
Make the change. It's scary.
I need help.
Yep.
I'm not ready to admit that.
Absolutely.
I'm doing fine. Leave me alone.
Right.
And I think that is a big part of it.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And sometimes you can't, sometimes they're right. They're not ready and things are working and it's fine. And we just encourage, get your research so that when and if something happens, you're not starting, because just like you said, Dr. Dorio, you're in that tailspin. We've had a fall. We're in the hospital. You can't go back home. And you haven't done your research. That's when all control usually gets taken away for the senior. You know what, Mom? You can't go home and this is where you're going. Because
they don't believe that, though. That's the difficult part. All our caregiver listeners now are sitting there going, yeah, I've talked to my parents and they won't make the change.
Right.
And a tour helps, talking to others helps.
Right.
Not being the victim of some terrible event is great, but trying to get over that threshold,
it's very difficult.
Very
and
difficult.
It's a process. It's very rare that somebody comes in and says, okay, I'll move tomorrow. It's a process. First of all, they want to see it. Can they picture themselves there? They want to see it again. They want to taste the food. They need to think about it. So yes, there are those emergent move-ins, and we've done it in a 24-hour period, gotten all the paperwork, helped get a mover, maybe rented furniture and gotten somebody in because it's emergent. We've also, the residents that we have now, some of them that pre-leased, they had 6 months to go through the process. So it takes everybody a different amount of time. Everybody has a different need. I guess what I just want to say is don't get blindsided. Do your homework. At Oakmont right now, we have a wait list. It's not like you can come in and say,
I'm ready
I want to move
in.
into a studio tomorrow.
because
Fortunately for us, but we don't have one. So again, doing your homework, being prepared as the adult child and as the senior, so that you are prepared.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, and everyone has to be on board with it.
Yes.
All the family members have to.
Right. And
I think a lot of family members, sons and daughters and so forth, think, wait a minute, I'm not ready to put my mom someplace other than home.
Right.
I'm not ready to do it.
Right. Or when you have a family come in where there's 6 sisters and they all live in different parts of the United States, and one has primary, but everybody weighs it in, and the sister that lives on the East Coast who hasn't seen mom in a year, is picturing it one way, and that's a process. And so we're here to help. We've, especially myself and most of my team, we've been doing this a long time. So we have strategies, we have resources to help families start that process. And I always say, sometimes we're trying to be logical with someone that really doesn't have the ability to make a logical decision. And that's really hard for children to do with parents, because there are parents.
Yeah.
That's right. But wouldn't it be nice in a perfect world that seniors who need to stay someplace say, yeah, I'm ready to go? Wouldn't it be nice?
Yep.
But I'm sure you do have
Yes.
those. Yes.
But it's a process.
What about when they arrive. What I haven't seen anywhere is that welcoming committee. Now that you've been open for a while, you've got different personalities of people now who are going to not be involved. Others will stay in their rooms. Others will get out. But you already have, I'm sure, a handful of people that residents now who could be a part of a welcoming committee. Hello, how are you? We're going to shoehorn you in to your new environment. Here are some friends for you. This is what you do in this situation and that. Do you have anything like that?
We do. Yes.
Do. Good.
We absolutely do.
Do you have a name for it?
I don't know if we have a name for it.
Bootstraps?
But we definitely have that group of residents that want to. They're so excited to be living at Oakmont that they want to share it. So they want to be part of that welcoming committee. We do a lot of homework beforehand so that we get to know the resident as best we can, so we can kind of foster that relationship as well. But yes, from our move-in coordinator, Katie, who once you make that decision that you're going to join Oakmont, her sole role is to walk the family and the resident through the process, be there on the day of move-in, and then kind of hand off to that welcome committee. We make sure that every department head within 24 hours, if they have not already met the family and the resident, meets them so that everybody feels comfortable.
Because that apprehension,
it's
difficult. No matter what, no matter how sure a person is about their move, there's got to be that point where they're going, okay, I'm not so sure.
Right. It reminds me of being at school and who am I going to eat lunch with, and who am I going to sit to next to? It's the same thing. We all have that. I mean, so we work really hard to alleviate that stress.
Now, what happens if the possible resident has a pet?
Well,
and they say, I'm not leaving home because I can't bring my pet with me. My dog or my cat or my bird.
Raccoon or my horse.
No horses.
Oh, shucks.
But we are pet friendly. So we have, our pet park. We have probably about 12 dogs. I'm not sure how many cats. But
we
have
fight?
A lot of dogs. We have one that's a little, usually the smallest one. But we even have kind of a pet club where the residents with pets get together. Last month,
cool.
they actually were watching YouTube videos of stupid pet tricks.
Huh.
That was so they've gone to Central Park. So our activity director, Gina, is amazing. And so, that's something that's important to that group of residents. So...
well, do you have a bus or something?
We do. We have a bus and we have a car.
And you can take the clients and their pets and their animals. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Again,
that's
no horses.
wonderful.
No. But cats, you put cats on a leash, or you walk them down the street, or teach them how to do push-ups or anything like that.
That I don't know.
Well, unless a cat from a tiny kitten has a leash around its neck, you're not going to get a cat to walk on a leash. Absolutely not at all.
That's funny. But yeah,
won't happen.
We definitely love pets, and we can, even if a resident can't care for that pet, we can actually make a care plan that incorporates walking the dog or changing the cat litter or something. So anything that we can do to keep that pet, because nobody wants to have to not bring that's their companion, sometimes their sole purpose. And then we get into getting the resident to leave the room and leave the dog or the cat if they need to, so that that we can cover those grounds as well.
Cool.
Oh, it's very important for seniors who, they may not have immediate family, but they have a pet. Yeah. Oh my goodness, don't try to take my pet away.
I get it too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I would be the same way. Yeah. We have 2 cats and love them to death. Absolutely. There's not a thing we wouldn't do for those silly cats.
I'm with you.
So, Margie, if there are listeners or caregivers out there or potential residents, how do they get a hold of you? What's that phone number again?
So our phone number is 661-295-2025. And again, we're on Newhall Ranch Road in between the 5 and Copper Hill. You can stop by, pick up literature.
Take a tour. And just to get an idea what that atmosphere is like,
Right.
because assisted living, people hear the name, but most people don't understand what the concept is at all. And in preparation for years later in life for all of us, if you don't understand what your options are going to be, then you're going to be lost when you need to have to look at those options.
Absolutely.
Margie Veis, 295-2025. Appreciate your being on the show again.
Thank you. I look forward to it next month.
Wonderful. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.